Welcome to Was, the podcast exclusively for people who want 69 Fidel Castro. We are your hosts as always. I'm Nick.
And I'm Andrew LZ, and I'm always surprised by these.
Sorry.
No, it's great.
I try to use quotes from movies that we'll be talking about. So teaser, I guess, for my list.
Yeah.
How you been, my friend?
I'm good. I mean, I've got 2 interviews this week, so that's good news.
Is one of them for the job that Jamie was looking at for you?
One of the jobs that Jamie, the first one that he sent me, he's like, this isn't the job that I originally wanted to send you, but this one's open. So, and then the other one opened up. So I still have to do the pre-video interview phase thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Looking promising at all, or?
I hope so. I mean, I really do. God, I hope so.
Understandable.
What about you? How are you doing? How's the family? How's everybody?
We have a mole problem at the house, and not like our former president who had a mole in his Secret Service. I have the animal mole.
It could be a good week. It could be a good week, guys. It could be
the best week ever.
Yes.
You remember those shows?
Best week ever? Yeah, VH1, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we've been saying it for years now. This could be the week, but this actually could be the week.
Yeah. So we'll see. The week's going to be interesting, but my family is great. Work has turned out to be less stressful because my partner is back now.
I was going to ask.
Which is huge. Thank God that she is back.
How's she doing?
Losing my mind. She's doing fine. This is her first child, so it's a little difficult for her to come back to work, I'm sure, but glad to have her back. So that's been great. I'm tired all the time, but that really isn't different.
Yeah.
But no, life is pretty fantastic, all things considered.
Yeah. I mean, our YouTube page is actually up. I just can't wait to get better at this so I can actually edit better and make actual nice screen grabs and everything for the pictures and everything. So
it's this whole podcast is a work in progress. We'll get there. Hopefully people are listening and enjoying it. Obviously
they're not, but it's okay.
They're not. It's okay.
You know what? This is for us. This is for us, and that's all that matters. And the thing is, we're talking about movies and saying that honestly, it's something that you and I naturally already do. So it's been a good time. I enjoy every single time that we do this. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you watch anything fun this week? Okay. Well, I haven't finished yet. I've only watched the first 2 episodes of the new series from Amazon that I've been very excited about, A League of Their Own.
I'm so excited.
I have
not started it yet.
Starring Abby Jacobson, Darcy Carden. It's got some great actors that I really love. Nick Offerman's in there, but there's some other names that are lesser known that I actually really like. So I'm very excited to finish the season, but I really like it. I'm just a big baseball fan, as are you. And A League of Their Own is it goes between that movie and 42, depending on what is my favorite baseball movie. But A League of Their Own was my number 1 for the longest time. 42 is just up there though. But I love A League of Their Own. They're not going off of the actual history, as far as I know. They're not completely portraying actual stories, but I really enjoy this. Also, like, Abby Jacobson was my favorite part of Broad City anyway. And so, I mean, I love Alana Glazer, but Abby Jacobson was always like my favorite person on that show. So
A League of Their Own is not only one of my favorite baseball movies of all time, but it's probably up there with one of my favorite movies of all time. And it started the kind of like meteoric rise of Tom Hanks being on our television screens. In fantastic movies.
I mean, him and Gina Davis are just so good in that movie. And
so honestly, there's not a single bad like main or side cast member of
No,
that movie.
Rosie O'Donnell's
Madonna's good. Rosie O'Donnell's
is
good. Laura
tolerable in that
Petty's
movie.
good. Yeah.
I love Laura
Um,
Petty in that movie. God, she's so great as Kit.
mhm,
That
mhm.
last game is so. I mean,
Oh,
it's the music helps it a lot, but man, the work that Laura Petty's putting in, and that like whenever she's struggling on the mound and everything is just the best because Gina Davis is just
mhm,
taking it all in. She knows that she has the mental edge over her sister, but
mhm.
it's still amazing.
My favorite scene in that movie, though, Stillwell on the stair.
I
Tom
knew you
Hanks
were gonna
throws the glove at him.
and starts laughing.
Ha! We're gonna win.
We're gonna win. Tom Hanks is so good, and like Stillwell Angel is such just a like he's only has like four total scenes, and then also adult Stillwell is
Yeah,
the bully from
Pee
Pee
Wee.
Wee. uh so uh Francis, I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah, yeah. Another Cusack sibling is in the movie as well.
Yeah, I can't ever remember her name. She was in the movie
Anne.
Accepted.
Her name's Anne.
Okay, she was in Accepted. I loved her in that too. So
She's in Multiplicity and The Informant and a couple other things. Gross Point Blank. She's
okay.
really good. I enjoy
Yeah, same
all
here.
the Cusacks, really.
Yeah.
She's apparently in The Boys as well.
She's Annie's mom. She's Starlight's mom. Yeah,
Yep.
I forgot about that. Nice pull. I also watched WWE Raw and SmackDown again. They're great shows again. So
Triple H killing it, from what
yeah.
I can gather.
Oh, and then I watched the movie that they're doing for How Did This Get Made this week.
Okay. And what
It's
movie is that?
it's so bad. It's literally it's top three worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's so bad. It might actually take the cake. It's Love on a Leash, and oh, it's
Love on a Leash?
whatever you're thinking, it's worse. So,
Oh, okay. Awesome.
and also the versions that I watched, well, not versions, the versions that are available apparently don't have the score in it for some reason.
Oh God.
So it's even worse. Apparently, you can only watch like according to like trivia on IMDb or whatever. The only versions you can watch that have the score in it are on DVD. And no,
Is that a dog in a tuxedo on the poster for
it's
this
never
film?
yes, it is, but the dog's never in a tuxedo.
Love at first bark. Does this woman have sex with a dog?
Not as a dog.
Oh, oh, oh.
It's real bad. And then the thing is, there's actually one scene that's actually pretty good in it, and then everything else is garbage.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
I
out.
had to watch it. What else
Uh,
did you watch? What did you watch this week?
I continue to watch The Sandman on Netflix. I'm only doing a couple episodes at a time because, again, like,
Savoring it.
well, I because I just in a brutal fashion binged Stranger Things over like all of Stranger Things
In
in like
less than a week.
like a 4 to 5 day period. I decided that it was probably best to slow down a little bit,
Yeah.
and not ingest one thing over and over and over again. So Sandman, couple episodes. I think I'm 5 episodes into the season. It's just so good. Like,
Yeah.
everyone should be watching it. Started from the first episode of the first season of Reservation Dogs
Oh,
from
I still need
Hulu,
to watch that. Yeah.
on from FX on Hulu, and stellar
Yeah, that's all I
show. I'm
hear.
only a couple episodes in, mind you, but really freaking good. I watched a ton of movies from 2019, the year that we're talking about today, and this year, like, we'll talk about it more, obviously. Holy crap!
Yeah,
Uh,
there's still some major ones I need to watch, like some
Same here.
major ones.
Yeah,
Ones that could
same here.
easily creep into my top 10 next week if I decide to reorder things.
Mhm.
There's just one movie that I'm just truly intimidated by that I just can't bring myself to watch yet. I'm in,
I
I know
I
you
bet
know
it's
what
the
it
same.
is.
I bet it's the same one for the both of
It's
us.
just intimidating. Like
Yeah,
I know I'm gonna love it. I know it's
yeah.
going to be. I mean, I think I don't even think love is the right word for it because I know it's going to be something special,
Mhm.
but I'm just flat out intimidated by it.
Yeah, I think you and I are on the same page on that one. And then I watched some Cardinals baseball. But
Yeah.
2019 put me on my heels when I started looking through how many movies I had seen from this year. When you take into account like their domestic box office take as well, like from one all the way into the like 250s, I was still finding movies that I had watched from this year.
Yeah. Oh no,
So,
I from the IMDb list that I always go off
mhm,
of, like I had to keep going up until I think I went to 1,000. I think the last movies I found were like in the 700 area, but it was just like, oh, I've seen this, and it's like 712.
yeah,
But I just double checked, but no, this year I think I talked about it last week. I think I got up to like 78 movies that I've seen from this year, 29 of which are horror movies, or could be considered a subgenre of horror.
yeah,
So great year for
definitely.
horror.
Yes.
Unfortunately, only a couple made my list, and that makes me sad. But
I mean, I told you before we got on the podcast, I mean, there were probably 6 to 7 horror movies that were in contention to making my top 10, and only one of them made it, I'll be honest.
okay.
But man, I wanted to put a lot more.
Okay, yeah, I think I actually know which horror movie made your top 10. But
I mean, we have talked about it in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah. Did you watch anything else?
Nope, that's all I want. I mean, again, a ton of movies, and I have. This is for any filmmaker that may accidentally stumble on this podcast. If we could stop making it a regular thing to create 2.5 to 3 hour films, that would be great. If we could,
I'm okay with it.
if we
I
could,
don't hate it.
if we could maybe just like 95 minutes is a pretty great money spot for how long a film should be.
And I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, I think there are. Hold up. I keep having to look over to find my list. I think there's one, two. I think there's I think 3 movies that are 3 hours long that are on my list.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
There were quite a few of them. So,
I don't know how long one of them is, but I know how long the other two are.
gotcha.
But also, I do want to say, I think the day that the recording went out, I believe, is the day that Olivia Newton-John
Mhm.
passed away. I did watch Grease that night. I still know all the words. I have my 40th anniversary Rydell High yearbook collection of Grease right behind me, and in
Such a
honor of Olivia Newton-John.
such a great talent she was. But as far as Grease is concerned, what a fantastic musical! Like,
It's so good.
and
I've watched
I'm
it.
specifically talking about the movie musical, not the musical, because they are two very different things, obviously.
Yeah.
But that movie musical, it's just fun. It also gave birth to one of the worst sequels of all time. But
Not according to some. Not according to some.
well, some people are stupid. But but
But
no, Olivia Newton-John, rest in peace.
she was like
Obviously,
29 when she shot that movie. I mean,
really,
not as old as
as
what
like the Riverdale cast, who may be in their 40s playing high schoolers.
no. Why can't I think of her name?
Stockard
She's
Channing.
Stalker Channing. Yeah. I think she was like
She's been
33.
she's been 50 for the last 70 years.
Beauty School Dropout has been my favorite song since I was a child. And
It's a fun song.
it's such a mean song too. He's
Yeah.
so mean to her. But
I mean, the ending is my favorite musical number by far.
I watch it twice every single time I put it on. Like
The ending is until they fly off into the the car heaven in the
Yeah.
sky.
Well, I mean, it's all been a
The
fever
ending is
dream.
my favorite.
It's all been a
Yeah,
fever dream
it's
because one of them died at the beginning of the movie on the beach. The whole
gotcha.
thing's been a fever
John
dream.
Travolta drowned.
Yeah.
John Travolta drowned.
Yeah.
Zeno couldn't help him.
Danny Zuko, you mean?
No, Zenu. He's a Scientologist.
Oh,
John
okay.
Travolta. Yeah.
I guess I don't know. Is it
The aliens
Xenu?
couldn't save him.
Okay.
Xenu, yeah, that's their alien god.
Oh, I didn't know that. But I mean, yeah, it's such a great movie. And then the high school, the dance is amazing. This movie has such great dancing in it too. So
It does.
yeah,
It's
so,
a ton of fun.
yeah. All right. Anything else you want to talk about for this week?
Nah, I
All
think
right,
it's time
podcast
for us
over.
to
Okay.
take a. Yeah, I think it's time for us to take a break and you guys to listen to commercials.
Hey, welcome back. And hey, how about we get into our top 10 movies of 2019, the
Whew.
most difficult year ever.
What I said it earlier in the podcast. I think we even said something about it on the last podcast. This year is crazy good.
Yes. I mean, it's
Just to give
crazy
some,
good, but just like crazy watchable, I think is probably the better
yeah,
term
that's
for
a
it.
better.
Because I mean, it was
This,
hard to pinpoint my top 10 because I mean,
yeah,
there's only so many great movies, but it was just a very watchable year.
mm-hmm, I agree. Very difficult to narrow it down to 10. Just to give some context for the year, uh, multiple Marvel movies, multiple Disney movies, and Pixar movies for that matter.
I mean, a surprising Disney movie.
Yeah, tons of tentpole IP released during this year. Tons of sequels. It is just a crazy year to look at.
Only 3 movies of mine are existing IP. We're
Mine
we're
too.
we're yeah. Oh,
Mine
sorry.
too.
I thought you were like seriously.
No,
But
I was looking at mine. Mine as well, actually.
yeah,
Only 3 existing IP.
yeah. That's
Interesting.
impressive. That's
Okay,
impressive.
maybe there's more alike to our list than I anticipated at first.
All right, you want to go
How
first or should
about
I? Oh, sorry.
I was
What
gonna
were you
say,
about
how
to say?
about you go first? I was gonna say you go first. I think I went first the last time.
All right. My number 10 is an existing IP, and I'm wondering about your opinion of it
Okay,
because I don't love this movie. I just think that the
but
performance
it's in your top 10.
but no, I mean, like you're gonna know why here in a second.
Okay,
The performance in this movie is truly phenomenal,
okay.
and it's Joker.
Yes, Joaquin Phoenix did an amazing job with the role. I will give you that.
Did you?
I watched it. I took the time to watch it. It did not make my top 10. I think my biggest
I didn't put it on your list, so I mean,
my biggest speed bump to wanting to like this was the toxic fandom that surrounded it.
yeah, same thing.
So I think that, and that's unfair to the movie because I think Todd Phillips did a really good job directing it, and I think Joaquin Phoenix did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
So,
And it's an homage to 2 different movies. It's literally an
yes,
homage to Taxi Driver and King of Comedy.
yes,
Both movies that star another star in this movie. So, but I think it's Joaquin Phoenix's performance. It's Zazie Beetz' performance in her limited role. His mother, which I can't think of her name right now, she was terrific. Robert De Niro in his limited scene
Robert De
was
Niro in
great.
his limited scene. Yeah,
Frances Conroy was good as his mother, but
mm-hmm.
I think Joaquin just really, honestly,
You could have just said Marshall's mom, by the way, or not Marshall, Barney's mom.
yeah. Oh my god, I forgot. I haven't watched a single episode of How I Met Your Mother since the finale.
Gotcha.
But the thing is, I'm also one of the few people I feel like who actually does not hate the finale. I don't. I just needed to take 10 years after watching the series.
I think I think when you're talking about this movie, though, specifically with Joker, you know, big swaths of this script took from the seminal graphic novel that ended up becoming canon called Batman the Killing Joke.
Yes.
This was an Alan Moore graphic novel in the 80s and is widely thought to be one of the greatest Batman stories ever told. So big swaths of this script were taken from that. This movie, from a money standpoint, the budget was sub $100 million,
Yeah.
which in this day and age is not that much money, and it took over $1 billion worldwide. So this was a certified success at the box office. So much so that in 2 years, I believe in 2024 is when it was announced to release, we're getting a musical
Yeah,
Joker
which I'm
2
actually not excited about. That's
with
the worst part. Folly Ado with Lady Gaga.
with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. So I am actually more interested in the follow up to Joker than I am the first movie.
Yeah.
Because what I have read is Todd Phillips is quoted as saying this is going to be more like A Star is Born than it is a full blown musical. And I thought Gaga was freaking outstanding in A Star Was Born. So
I didn't watch it. I think that came out in 2018, right? So I might, if whenever we get to that year, I'll
yeah,
maybe watch it. But no, I
no,
mean, I had to put Joker on here
yeah,
because of Joaquin's performance. I think
yeah,
what he did with the laugh in general, and
that is haunting.
what he did with the laugh, and the work that he put into it, and the study and everything,
Mm-hmm.
is terrific. He made it literally. He made his laughter look painful.
Yeah. Well, and he transformed physically for this role as well. You know, he also made it his own. You
Yes,
know, the last Joker we had
Jared
was
Leto.
Jared Leto,
Yeah.
and I can't think of a single person that was like, "Yeah, I really like that," other than
Oh
you.
no, I don't love it. I don't like but the thing is I've defended Leto's Joker for one reason.
Yes.
For one reason in particular. If we were to exist today in a world where there are criminals like the Joker, he would probably that's exactly how that character would probably be right now.
Yeah.
He'd be a
Well,
mob boss who's a
mhm,
little way too over the top in
mhm,
not the way that like the Mark Hamill
gotcha.
Joker is. He'd be kind of like that. He'd be probably a ladies' man too, and I don't know. He'd probably have face tattoos. He'd be a SoundCloud rapper basically. So
Well, I just,
I do love the makeup on this Joker's
yeah,
look. I think
yeah.
it's an amazing look.
I think he definitely set himself apart from Heath Ledger as well, which I think is super important moving forward for any future Joker. To the fact that for our generation, you know,
He's the seminal Joker.
Heath Ledger was the Joker. Yeah. I love Mark Hamill. Don't get me wrong, and
Oh yeah,
his voice is what I picture in my mindscape when
same.
I think about the Joker. But Heath Ledger embodied that character, and Joaquin Phoenix did a hell of a job
Creating a brand
doing
new
his own,
Joker.
yeah,
Yeah,
creating a brand new thing.
yeah. So I mean, with you and I, we don't really need to go too much further into Joker, just because I mean
Mhm.
we're not going to add anything to the conversation. It's just Joaquin's performance is the reason why it made my list. So
And a surprising Todd Phillips movie. You know,
yes,
that's
the
another
man who
thing.
brought you Hangover.
Yeah, exactly. The man who brought you not only Hangover, but Road Trip and Old School as well.
I do love Road Trip and Hangover,
In Old School,
and
he
Old
was the
School.
gangbang guy.
Yeah,
He was the
I'm
gangbang
here for
guy.
the gangbang.
Hello. Yeah. So
Um,
Todd Phillips bringing out
Johnny
a movie
B's
you didn't expect from him.
Johnny B's greatest Halloween costume
His
is the
costume, yeah.
gangbang guy
Yes.
from Old School.
Yep.
That's great.
Hello.
What's your
So
number 10?
Joker, your number 10 movie. My
Yeah.
number 10, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is not going to be on your list for me. Because this surprised me putting this on my list in the first place. but this is existing IP. It was a sequel. This movie earned $1.5 billion at the box office and was the second highest grossing animated film of all time. Frozen 2.
I did not have that on your list, and it did not make mine. I was actually a little disappointed in Frozen 2 myself.
I liked Frozen 2 better than the original. I thought that the
I
music was better. I thought that the story was better. I thought that the set pieces were better. Overall, I just
What
thought it
about that
was.
ending though?
I love the ending.
The ending is it's just too convenient. Everything just
It's
happens.
a it's a Disney movie. What do you
It's a
expect?
Disney movie made in 2019 and
You're not
great.
wrong.
I found myself I no, I agree with you. Like the story throughout is actually really good. I like the other kingdom and everything. I like I mean Josh Gad is great in his performance. I and so is Adina Menzel and I think what's her name? Like Kristen
Kristen
Bell.
Bell,
I don't think her character had as much to do in this. I think Kristen Bell's the main, like her character Anna is my favorite part of the first movie. So I mean,
Anna. Yeah,
yeah, and I think she just didn't have as a fun role for me in this one. So that's my
I
only
get it. I get
disappointment.
it.
So
I also, as I stated, I thought the music was better in this one as well. The Panic at the Disco version of one of the songs, as well as Weezer does a version of one of the songs, both excellent in my opinion. I love both of those bands quite a
yeah,
bit.
Panic at
Uh,
the Disco, one of my first concerts ever. So
Jealous.
they were
Uh,
I've seen them twice, and I went on a really bad date on one of them. So
Gotcha. So, I mean, this movie, again, it surprised me when I was going through 2019 that this kind of shuffled its way into my top 10. Like, I started looking over these movies and I started remembering, the rewatches of a lot of these movies that ended up getting onto my list and how much I enjoyed sitting down with the kids and watching this film. I know that the original Frozen in 2015 caught a lot of people off guard. They were like, "Oh, this is a freaking fantastic movie." The sequel, usually I'm not a huge sequel fan when it comes to just plain Disney stuff.
yeah,
Pixar's another story, but Disney typically the sequels fall off for me. But this didn't. This hit all the right notes for me. I loved the growth of Anna and Kristoff in the film, where they were from the beginning or the end of the first one to the beginning of this one.
yeah.
And again, the set pieces and the music really did it for me. So number 10 on my list is Frozen 2.
I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I might have to revisit. I don't know if I will, but I no, I really love Olaf's song whenever he's going through the forest and he's like obviously being followed, but he's so
Mm.
oblivious. I like the whole
Yeah.
Kristoff part where he's trying to look for an opening to propose. I like the
Mm-hmm.
hijinks that happen within that. I don't remember too much of Elsa's part. I know that she's trying to help the other kingdom or something, but is it her who goes on the journey by herself or is that Anna?
Elsa goes on the journey by herself to figure out what's calling her there, and
Oh,
Anna
that
has to kind of figure out what's going on with the kingdom.
yeah, the ethereal music that's in that movie that
Mhm.
is
Yeah,
so beautiful. And I loved when they
super cool.
performed it at the Academy Awards too because they actually had that girl who did that voice.
Well, and this movie was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song.
Yeah.
So
Into
pretty
the
cool.
Unknown. There we go. It's a
Yeah,
I agree with you that actually I do like this movie. I just found myself really disappointed in the end, and I think that's why
I get it.
I spoke so negatively about it. It's just because I just really did not like the ending when I saw it in theater. So
I get it. I get
yeah,
it. I guess that brings us to our to my number 9 film.
yeah.
Uh, this was a movie starring Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron called The Long Shot.
I did not put that on your list either. Man,
Uh, Funny romantic comedy. I love Charlize Theron.
I loved this movie. Yeah,
I think she is absolutely brilliant. She is a fantastic actor, and I love Seth Rogen. Like,
yeah.
dude is just out there killing it with what God gave him, which is at a
He's
brilliant mind to be hilarious.
he's so damn versatile too. Who
Yeah,
thought that Seth Rogen was going to excel in a mainstream rom-com?
yeah,
I would have. I mean, well, actually, no. I technically Knocked Up is a rom com, technically a little bit,
yeah.
but
I
this
put
one,
that more as an Apatow movie than I do
yeah,
traditional rom com, though.
this one is more traditional rom com, and he's great. Charlize, like literally, I think this is where I think Charlize started to kind of loosen her buttons a little bit. Obviously, she did Arrested Development, where
Yes.
uh, she played something. Um, uh, but I think this is where we actually actively started seeing Charlize loosen like the top buttons. I think she started to kind of open up a little bit. She actually did an episode of How Did This Get Made with Seth. I think they did 2 episodes
Yeah.
because she just started like having fun. So
Yeah. And the cast is pretty stellar too, by the way.
yeah,
Like you've got Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron
June
as your
Diane
leads.
Raphael.
June Diane's in it. Paul Scheer actually shows up.
Yeah.
Boys to Men play themselves in this movie. I want to state
Yes, I
that for the
forgot about
record.
that. I forgot about that.
Alexander Skarsgård is in it. Stellar Skateboard's brother.
Yeah.
Uh,
Son.
son, excuse me. Andy Serkis shows up. Freaking Bob Odenkirk plays the dumbest version of a president ever, which is saying
Well,
something.
which we thought.
Yeah. And so Randall Park is in it
Yeah.
as well. So stellar cast. The through line of Seth's character Fred knowing the Secretary of State who is being propped up as possibly the next president of the United States is just inherently funny in my opinion, and
Yeah.
just the hijinks that occur through that are well earned when they're drunk. And like when she's dancing, like that just seems so relatable somehow. Even
Yeah.
though in no way, shape, or form will I ever be able to relate to Seth Rogen or Charlize Theron.
No, not at all. I don't remember a ton from this movie just because I saw it in theater and that was the last time I saw it. But I remember specifically like involving a scene involving Boys to Men when he goes to that first party and he's just wearing like his like really bright like windbreaker with his backpack and everything, and
Yes.
it's like a black tie affair and everything.
Yes.
And Seth was just great. I think like I said, he's just versatile as shit. He can literally do anything, and I'm happy for it. I remember walking out of the theater and be like, man, I did love that movie. I really did. So, but I'm happy it made one of our lists too. I was not expecting it to make one of our lists.
It was a hit at South by Southwest. It's got like an 85% Rotten Tomatoes rating. It wasn't a huge financial success. It was a very low budget film. Like they made this film for like 35-40 million dollars, and it only made about 54 million dollars at the box office. But still, I think it is a ton of fun. I love Seth Rogen. I love Charlize Theron. I love the rest of this cast. So it makes my list at number 9.
Yeah. So my number 9, God, I wish I could make it number 1 because I think I saw this movie 3 times in theater because I enjoyed it. It was just purely a truly fun fucking movie. And it is Alita Battle Angel. I wish I could make it number 1 because I had so much fun watching this movie. It's literally it's a popcorn movie. It's not a great movie. It's really not. It's just a fun fucking movie. And you have to kind of get over like the weird special effects that are in it because the special effects are amazing. They're just jarring to the eye at first. But once you get used to it, I think it's terrific. Rosa Salazar stars in it. Christoph Waltz is in it.
Mahershala Ali's in this.
Yeah, Mahershala is in it as the main villain that we see. We get a tease at the very end.
Jennifer
with
Connelly is also in it.
Yes, Jennifer Connelly. We get a tease at the very end with Edward Norton. Ed Skrein is in this, and I love Ed Skrein. He just doesn't get enough credit for what he's able to do. He was also in like Midway. Most people know him from Deadpool. Yeah, he's Francis, but
Jackie Earl Haley is in
hey,
it as well.
yeah, he's a little less recognizable just with the CG that's on him.
Yeah.
But this movie is so fun. It's directed by Robert Rodriguez. It's produced by James Cameron. James Cameron wanted to make this movie for the longest time, but and I'm happy he didn't for the longest time because we finally got to the point where the technology would make it look a lot better. I just and like I said, Rosa Salazar fucking stars in this movie. I think she's so great. I hope she's in another good show. I think that's on Prime called Undone. A new season came out. I don't know if she's in it. That also stars Bob Odenkirk as well. But I don't know. I love. Have you seen Alita Battle Angel?
I have not actually.
It's it's just a ton of fun. It's existing IP. It comes from an old, I think, a manga, and it's just
Yes.
it's a I don't know. It's basically Rosa Salazar wakes up as an android, and she has like because Christoph Waltz is going through like a dump. And this is set in the way future, and I don't know what that's from in the way future, but it's like somebody uses that.
It's
Uh,
it. It starts 300 plus years,
yeah,
or 500 plus years in the future.
yeah, and he's a doctor who just helps people because there's like everybody has like cybernetic like implants on them in this world,
Mm-hmm.
and he just helps these poor people who are just dealing with like a government that hates them, that live in a like a cloud type city, and he just helps people, and he finds this head and spine of an android, and he gives it a new body, and it turns out she's like the perfect weapon. She was made to be the perfect weapon, and she's just this sweet kid, and she ends up just battling these these other like bounty hunters and everything, like these bad people. There's like a rollerball type of game in it too, which is ridiculous. It makes no sense, but it's a lot of fun. And I love this movie. Like I said, I saw it 3 times in theater because I was just having a good time.
I have not seen the movie, so I've been relatively quiet. Obviously, I'll check it out on your recommendation for
Yeah.
sure.
I think it's on my
Um,
movies anywhere, so I think you can watch it
okay,
anytime. So,
okay.
but no, I truly I do love this movie. I would suggest it to anybody who's open to like just weird sci-fi fantasy type stuff. That's if you like. I'm not really a manga guy. I don't really read any of the. I've watched like other shows like Attack on Titan and stuff like that, but
Hmm.
so I'm not exactly the target audience for this, but I enjoy the shit out of it. So Alita Battle Angel is my number 9 movie. And I like I said, if it wasn't a great year for some really great movies, this would be my number 1 because I enjoyed this movie a fuck ton. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
What do you got for 8?
My number 8 is from visionary director Jordan
If you say
Peele.
I was about to say, if you said Zack Snyder, I was going to come to Arizona and
Did
punch you in the
did
dick.
he have a movie
I
this
don't
year?
think he had anything
Okay, I
that
was
came
about
out
to
this
say
year, just so we're clear.
I'm not a Snyder bro, but I will watch a Snyder movie. But from visionary director, I'm saying like I'm just making fun of the people who blow steam up his ass, which I love Jordan Peele. I truly do. I've loved him since Mad TV. It's Us. It's his second movie, and I think Lupita Nyong'o is so damn good in this movie. I don't think she got an Oscar nomination, but she sure as fuck deserved one.
She should have, for sure.
Winston Duke is in this movie. Obviously, you got Elizabeth Moss and you got Tim
Tim
Heidecker.
Heidecker.
You got
Tim
Tim Heidecker,
Heidecker is in this freaking movie.
and I mean they don't have a ton to do. Him and Elizabeth Moss, but I always love seeing Elizabeth Moss in anything because she's a phenomenal actor. But
She is also
Lupita,
a crazy Scientologist, just so we're clear.
I don't think she's as crazy as the other
She is.
Scientologists though.
She is. I'm
But
sorry.
okay,
They're all nuts.
but she. No judgment, but some judgment.
Oh, no,
But
100% judgment. I
I'm kidding.
no, yeah.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice.
Well, where
Okay.
the hell's the fun in that?
I know. I'm trying to be nice though. I'm trying to be a nice person. But Us is so good. I think it's I like it better than Get Out. Obviously, like Get Out is a terrific movie. It's just I was looking at it more of like a horror movie more than anything. And it's just, I don't love it so much as a horror movie. I like it better as a social commentary movie, but it's I went into it wanting it to be a great horror movie, and I just didn't
Gotcha.
find it to be a great horror movie. But Us,
I understand.
I think, is a great horror movie. I think and one thing that Jordan does really well, and I spoke about it ad nauseum about Nope, because he is a horror fan. Whenever something happens sometime in the movie, it's been set up. There's justification for everything that he does throughout the movie.
Hmm. Oh,
and
absolutely.
and
And that's in anything he does, by the way. I even felt that in his Twilight Zone
oh, I
uh,
love I
episodes.
now that I have Paramount Plus, I need to finish Twilight Zone. I only got to
Hmm.
watch like the first couple episodes whenever like
Hmm.
they were giving like a free trial. But it gave us a great soundtrack. Like I said, everything is earned in this movie. And once again, this is another movie that could easily be in a top 5, top 3 movie of the year if it wasn't in such a great year.
This was one of the numerous horror movies that were on my list that were vying for my a spot in the top 10 for sure.
Did it not make your
Uh,
top 10?
it's like this is like my number 11 movie of the
Okay.
year for
Luckily, I
sure.
did not put this in your top 10. So
This
I
was
so haven't gotten anything in your top 10, but
this is the first movie that I've gotten in yours that I've guessed. So, uh, no, this movie is just incredible. It
yeah.
truly is. The way that the tethers are shot, I don't know, man. I can't add anything that you haven't already talked about. It's
Yeah.
just
Well, I love the visuals that
so
happen. Like
good.
whenever something's happening on the surface, you
Mhm.
see the mirror of it underneath.
Mhm.
I think the twist at the end is actually really great too. There it can leave it open ended with the sun as well. I think, yeah. I mean, I was lucky
Lupita
enough.
Nyong'o deserves all accolades for this
Yeah,
film,
I mean,
in my
she was in
opinion.
another great horror movie, fun horror movies this year that came out with Josh Gad playing off character from this movie,
Oh,
completely off character. They were both in a movie called Little Monsters, which is a lot of fun. And
gotcha.
I suggest that for anybody who likes like weird zombie movies. Yeah, Us, I think, is terrific. I have 2 other horror movies on my list. One is more serious and one is just more fun. But
Mhm.
I think Us is just a top tier movie from this year. I think anybody should watch this movie, even if you don't like horror, because it doesn't have like a ton of horror. Like it has horror set pieces. It just doesn't have a lot of horror imagery.
Mhm.
So I think it's safe for a lot of people to watch. And like I said, I think the visuals within this movie, I think I just think cinematography is terrific. I think whoever dressed the set, whoever I think made the costuming and everything, I think they did a great job. And like I can't stop talking about Lupita Nyong'o's dual performance in this movie. So
Yeah, she knocks it out of the park for sure. Like without a doubt, just stellar ability to just hold my attention.
yeah.
Man, I'm really second guessing myself for not putting this on my list. I'll
No,
be
I
real
mean
honest.
it's your list though. It's keep in
No, I
mind
know, I know.
our my list might slightly change next week if I watch one movie. So hey,
This movie also a stellar hit at the box office. It cost 20 million to make and made over 255 million dollars at the box office. So it was certified banger at the box office. And I think this movie probably for me solidified Jordan Peele's ability to create something not only solely original but impactful. Like Get Out
yes.
was great, and Get Out I actually enjoy more than this movie, but this movie solidified his ability as a director.
Yeah, and then Nope just made it even better. Like just push that stamp like with more pounds of force.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, what's your number 8? Hopefully, I get
I
it this time.
just thinking about this movie puts a smile on my face. This movie stars Tom Hanks as a person who I watched growing up. It's a semi biographical drama, and we're talking about A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
God damn it! I didn't put this on your list either. I still haven't
Th-
watched this one yet, though.
There is something so incredibly heartwarming about Mr. Rogers.
Yes,
Fred Rogers was a brilliant human being who made others around him better and made this world a better place.
absolutely.
And I got to sit down with my oldest son to watch this movie when it first came out. And I was just moved by how amazing Tom Hanks was as Mr. Rogers, and just seeing, how he took this, not even, I won't even call it a relationship, this moment with a journalist, and improved this journalist's life just because he saw somebody who was hurting. And the fact that this is based on a true story, this tells me that Mr. Rogers was exactly who he showed himself to be every day on television.
Exactly. And there are multiple instances that have been circulating throughout the internet the last couple of years of Mr. Rogers. Obviously, him talking and believe in front of the Supreme Court is one of those instances. I can't remember the context of which he was there, because he spoke about so
He was
many.
in front of Congress. He was in
Congress.
front of Congress talking about why public broadcast
That's right.
television
Yeah.
needed to be funded, because Congress at the time was going to defund public
PBS. Yeah.
broadcasting. And he obviously got up in front of them and made the case for why it's important for there to be the type of programming on that fosters these children who are watching the television. So
Yeah. And then the other moment is when he shared a kiddie pool and washed his feet with the black
with the
man
police officer, yeah,
who
or that
there was a
excuse me, not police officer.
mailman, right?
Yes.
And there was a huge stigma for some, I mean, obviously because of racism, but and he made a giant statement by just doing the simplest thing. They took their
Yeah,
shoes
and
off.
he did it throughout his entire career too. Like, he brought on
They just
the
bring
woman.
me to tears.
Yeah, he brought on the woman who played the Wicked Witch of the West
Yes, I watched that one
to
recently.
show that it was a character and that she wasn't that person. And he was always doing these things through his life. And A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood picks up in 1998 with Mr. Rogers still being Mr. Rogers, and basically fixing this journalist's family.
Yeah.
And makes it possible for this this journalist, his name's Lloyd, make peace with his father and allow his father in his dying days to be a part of the family once again. And it's just a beautiful story, and it warms my heart knowing that this is the kind of stuff that is possible out there. And that's why this movie is my number 8 movie of 2019. It makes me want to be a better person seeing this movie.
I get that.
So,
I get that completely. Like I said, I did not have this on your list. It was not on mine either, unfortunately, because I have not seen it. It is on my. I have it starred on my little list of movies I do need to watch. But I'm happy it made one of our lists. I love Mr. Rogers. I actually didn't grow up watching Mr. Rogers. I didn't watch any PBS, but I'm happy it made one of our lists because Mr. Rogers was an amazing man, and that's terrific that it made your list. So,
well, I was just gonna say, like, Tom Hanks isn't like the main character of this movie either. I think that's like the Matthew Rhys, who plays Lloyd, the journalist. He's the main character. He's the one that drives the plot of this. But Tom Hanks received nominations for not only an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, but also a Golden Globe, a Critics' Choice, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and a BAFTA Award nomination as a supporting actor for this. So like Tom Hanks embodied Mr. Rogers for this role, which I think was pretty cool.
That's awesome. On that note, we're gonna take a quick brief. Those are the same words.
Quick and
basically.
brief. Yep, same thing. Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick brief break, and we'll see you right back. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for dealing with that. We're not a real show, guys, so just take it or leave it. Troy and Abed in the morning.
Yeah. I guess that brings us to my number 7 film of the year. This is what's called a folk horror film. This is an A24 film as well. Multiple A24 films came out this year, just FYI.
All of them good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This just happens to be my favorite of those. And this deals with a Scandinavian pagan cult, and it stars the amazing Florence Pugh.
Yes.
And this is Midsommar.
Yeah.
God, this movie is so good.
It's horrifying. It's literally it's like horrifying in the weirdest way, because it's a horror movie that takes place exclusively, almost exclusively in the daylight over multiple days. Yes. And it's sorry, it's your movie. This is my number 3. This is my number 3. But
oh wow,
this is a bash to the face, and I'm saying that for a specific reason.
Yeah.
This movie is a bash to the face. This is a burning alive in a bear carcass movie. And the Ari Aster and his 2 efforts so far, once again, along with Jordan Peele, is just doing some crazy shit that we didn't know was gonna ever exist. And
yeah, his two feature films that have come out so far are absolutely terrifying. And these were in back-to-back years. 2018, he brought us Hereditary.
They're terrifying.
Which is
in subtle ways. Obviously, Hereditary goes a little bit off the rails at the end, but
just mostly.
But Midsommar also kind of goes a little, not as crazy at the end, but still crazy. But this movie is like, it's so hard to talk about without ruining anything, because everything matters in this movie.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to get too far into the weeds about what this movie is about, because for people who haven't seen it, I want them to go in fresh-eyed. But just know that this takes place in like this midsummer festival
in Norway, really, right?
It's we'll just call it weird Scandinavian place is what we'll call it.
But the thing is, this movie also starts with a jarring experience, a truly jarring experience, and you deal with a situation a lot like Hereditary. Whenever Toni Collette discovers the child's body, you get something very similar with Florence Pugh, and Florence is killing it in this movie. All the supporting characters are doing a great job.
Not as great a screamer as Toni Collette is.
No.
Toni Collette is like top tier screaming.
Yeah. Oh God, I love that woman. That woman also completely robbed of an Academy Award win. Nay, I mean, not even just a nomination. Toni Collette deserved the win for Best Actress for Hereditary, but Florence Pugh just destroys this movie, because like it's like, and I've watched a bunch of behind the scenes videos of not behind the scenes videos, but analyzing this movie, like whenever she's in that the room and she's crying, and then all the other women are crying with her and just mirroring what she's doing. The cultist somebody who had escaped, grew up in a cult and everything. They talked about that scene in particular, and they're like, "This is a real thing. This is
Yeah.
what happens. They get you in a sense of belonging in your worst moment, and which makes them closer to you. And the end of this movie is
Whew.
you see everything in Florence Pugh's face
Mm-hmm.
when she's covered in the flowers, and then just that look to camera, and obviously it leaves it open ended as well. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
You know,
but but she the performance is. I mean, this movie also has William Jackson Harper, who's great. It
has Will
has
Poulter in
Will
it.
Poulter, who's amazing.
Yeah.
Jack something
Rayner.
Jack Rayner, who I like a lot.
It's
This
got a bunch of Nordic people in it as well, just so we're clear.
Yeah, and I I I wanted to see this in the theater, but for some reason I didn't go because like it was another one of those movies that was just kind of intimidating to me. It was because I saw Hereditary in theater. I saw that in theater, and I was like, and I knew that this was the next movie by that same guy, but I was not mentally prepared for this movie. And
No, no, I definitely was not either. When when Jack Rayner's character is doing the research and finds out that like routinely people are brought in from the outside to avoid incest, like I just knew that we were
all the stuff
the
that
ride was not going to stop.
all the stuff that happens with him too, because obviously he's being coaxed
Yeah,
by the village,
yeah.
and you see like he has very little conflict with it. but I mean, because obviously he like without the movie he doesn't want to be with Florence Pugh
No,
anyway, like, and that's from the beginning, like, well, not the beginning, probably right after the beginning. He's already, and she doesn't invite herself though, right? Somebody makes the mistake of inviting her.
someone invites her.
Oh
Yes.
no, I think it's the guy who coaxes them there.
Oh, that's right.
I
That's
think
right.
it's him. I've only watched the movie once, and I it just because it's a jarring movie. But
It is a film that knocks you on your ass for sure.
yes,
And
it's such a beautiful movie too.
there is apparently a director's cut out there that's nearly 30 or that's
I watched that one.
about 25 minutes longer than the theatrical release. I
Yeah.
have not seen the director's cut. I'm wondering if the director, like, I don't know if I could take 25 more minutes of
I
the
only
film, is all I'm
watched the
saying.
director's cut. I haven't even seen the theatrical cut, but
Gotcha.
because it was on Amazon Prime like pretty quick after, and it
Mm.
was the like I said, the visuals of this movie are so beautiful. I mean, they did it like there's only a couple settings, but they make it grand. They make it like there's so much happening in the background of this movie,
Mhm.
like not performances, but like the set dressing and everything. There's so much happening back there that means so much. And actually, spoiler alert, if you do watch this movie, there's a tapestry at the very beginning that literally tells you the entire story. Like
Oh, wow.
it's a crawl of a tapestry, and it literally tells you the entire story, but you're only looking at it if you're watching it for the first time. You don't know that all that is everything that's going to happen in the movie pretty much. And yeah, it's such a cleverly made movie. It was shot in Hungary on a $9 million budget.
Whew.
$9 million. So
I was gonna try to rewatch it before I could not find my disc, and all of the places where it was streaming for free I did not have access to. I don't have a Showtime account.
yeah,
I don't have DirecTV anymore, and Canopy, the Cape Public Library, is not a part of that. So you can rent it for like $3 from multiple places. And if you haven't seen it, I would sincerely recommend it. Florence Pugh is absolutely brilliant
yes,
in the movie.
yeah. Midsummer, you're number 7, my
Mm-hmm.
number 3.
Yeah,
So if we moving on, unfortunately, from Midsummer, which we could probably talk about forever.
we could talk about for a while longer. Yeah.
My number seven is a movie, another horror movie. I
Okay.
find just a lot of fun. It's another one of those fun movies that I kind of like. It kind of takes like the same type of place as Alita Battle Angel. I don't think this is a better movie than Us, but I have it higher on my list because I enjoy it more than Us. It's a movie starring Samara Weaving. It's Ready or Not. Have you watched this
I
one?
did have this on. I have not watched it, but I did have this on your list,
Yeah.
my
I
guessing list for you.
I did not have this on your list, so I mean we're good there. But Ready or Not is like I forgot. I already asked you, but did you've seen this movie?
I have not watched it yet.
Okay, this movie is a ton of fun. It's it's a horror comedy, kind of, mostly, yeah. And it's sorry, it's just I saw this twice in a day or back to in one day or in the next day in theater. And the Samara Weaving, I'm convinced, is going to be a huge star, and I think she's on the way there. She's also in another fun movie that came out this year with Daniel Radcliffe called Guns Akimbo,
I
which
love that movie.
it's
It's
such a fun movie.
fantastic.
But Samara Weaving is playing this woman who's marrying into this very rich family that has Adam Brody, which I love Adam Brody. And but this movie also has like an amazing cast. Like uh what can't I think of her name either?
You're still talking about so the cast for Ready or Not has, like you said, Adam Brody. It's got Andy McDowell
Andy
in it.
McDowell, that's who I was looking for. I mean, so it's not a hugely like populated like giant star movie, but she's marrying to this family, and on the day of her wedding, she is told she this family is a board game empire. Like they're kind of like Hasbro or Parker Brothers, and they came into this wealth and from this company because they were like their grandfather or great grandfather was on a in war with another they were at war, and he was with this other guy on a ship, and he gave him this game, but he told him that he had to attribute and sacrifice somebody marrying into the family, or give them the opportunity to marry into the family by doing this game, or something bad will happen. And so she marries into this family and is given the option to choose this game, and she chooses this card randomly, and it says hide and seek, and she has to survive throughout the night for her to enter the family, but they're just trying to kill her. And just a like I don't want to spoil this movie, especially for you, because I love this movie, and a lot of crazy shit happens within this movie, and then the ending is so satisfying too, because there's no way for her to win and them to win, and it's the journey that you go on with Samara Weaving, because she is so likable even while she's being chased down by this family trying to actively murder her and sacrifice her. And it's just it's a ton of fun. I'm going to watch it tonight. I decided, and it's I don't know. I don't want to spoil too much, because she's in this white dress this entire time, her wedding dress, and the state of her dress throughout the night is just, and it's a beautiful wedding dress. It's truly beautiful, and just the state that it ends up at the end. You just go through a journey through her and the wedding dress. It's a ton of fun, and I would recommend this to anybody who wants to laugh and watch some gory shit. So
I need to check it out for sure. It's streaming for free on Chrome and FX, so I'll just have to check it out. Looks like a ton of fun.
yes, I would suggest this for anybody. I think it's such a fun movie. So I'm obviously you haven't seen it, so I don't want to go too much into it, but I think you would like this movie a lot.
I will definitely check it out. I like comedy horror. I think It's an underutilized genre,
Yes.
or I guess an underutilized subgenre.
Yeah.
So that was Drew's number six,
7.
seven. Excuse me, number seven. Ready or not? What is your number six?
My number 6 is a movie that I watched just 2 weeks ago for
Okay.
the first time, and I really, really like retrospectively. I really loved this movie. It's Booksmart. It's directed by Olivia Wilde.
Wild.
It stars Beanie Feldstein, and I can't think of the other girl's name. She's a great actor, but this movie is like without it. I think this has been compared to a very very similar movie. Caitlin Dever is the other actor.
Mhm.
It's been compared a lot to Superbad, and it doesn't help the fact that Beanie Feldstein is also the sister to Jonah Hill, but
I was thinking the same thing.
it doesn't help. But it's another journey of them trying to get to a party, and just they are two kids who have only focused on their academics. Did you watch this one yet?
I haven't watched it yet, but
It's these.
man, I'm looking at this cast
Oh
and
no,
I
it's
love
great.
this cast.
It's great. The
Lisa Kudrow,
Yeah,
Jessica Williams,
yeah.
Will Forte, Jason Sudeikis, Billy Lord. Like, this is a stellar freaking cast.
Billy Lord is so damn good in this movie. She's terrific. Actually, there's a line from this movie that is my favorite, and it's a kind of a throwaway line at the very end. It's just, "Did you fuck Mrs. Fine?" And it's the you know Argyle from Stranger Things.
Yes.
He's in this movie, and
Oh,
one
fantastic.
of the people asks him that, and it's terrific. It's but this it's these two girls who have only focused on their academics throughout all of high school. They didn't kind of even care about fun, trying to have fun. They were just trying to get into the best school. They were trying to be valedictorian. One's going to like Ivy League school, and one's gonna go do some humanitarian work on a gap year. But they find out that everybody else in their school, who they've thought so little of, because they just see them as like partiers and people who don't give a shit, have also gotten into these giant schools, and they're like, you can have fun while also taking your academics seriously. You don't have to just choose. And it's just them trying to get to this one main party at the end, and they end up at other parties, kind of like in Superbad.
Gotcha.
But it's the whole journey. There's a like an acid trip in this movie that's the funniest shit. And like I said, Billy Lord's in this. Skylar Gazondo is in this, and I know this movie stars Caitlin Dever and Beanie Feldstein, and they are terrific. They are terrific, but Skylar Gazondo and Billy Lord steal every scene that they're in, and it's
Skylar is in Righteous Gemstones and in
yes,
Santa Clarita Diet and is excellent. So,
he's so underutilized in Righteous Gemstones, though. I
yeah.
I need them to actually do something with him eventually. But yeah, those two are so fucking funny in this movie. Jason Sudeikis has like a very standout part in the movie at one point, because Lisa Kudrow and Will Forte only have like a very very small part in this movie. But it's this movie, if you enjoyed Superbad and you want to see it from a kind of like a more modern, like even more modern perspective, this movie I would suggest. I'm so mad that I took 3 years to watch this movie, because I do love this movie. It's so funny. It's so smart. It's just a great movie. I would actually suggest that you watch this as soon as possible.
I will definitely take a look at it
It's on
because,
Hulu.
yeah, it sounds and looks amazing, and the fact that Skylar is in this like bodes extremely well. I know he was in Licorice Pizza, which you
I love it. I
have
don't
this
care.
that you
I,
love so
I
much.
do love licorice
But
pizza. I will die on that hill.
he's getting ready to star in show called The Resort that I'm
Oh
intrigued
yeah,
by.
yeah. That show's out
It's a
on
Peacock original.
Peacock. Yeah, I still haven't watched
Yeah,
that. I'm just in the
it's
middle of
a
watching so many
dark
things.
dark comedy mystery with William Jackson Harper and
And
Kristen.
Kristen Milioti.
Yeah, so I'm going to give that a try. But knowing that you like this film, I'm definitely checking this out.
Yeah,
This was on my list of things to watch before we started the podcast. I just ran out of time.
yeah. Oh, same here. I mean, I've like I said, there are still so many movies that I need to watch from this year that, yeah.
I did have this on your list for you though, so I
Okay,
did get that.
yeah.
I've got four for you so
God, I
far.
only have one.
Which one was that again? I don't
Midsummer.
remember.
Midsummer.
Okay, gotcha. I guess that brings us to my
Your
number
number
six film.
six, yeah.
Okay, my number six film is a movie that we kind of talked about before we decided to hop on the pod. You just watched this film yesterday. It is Knives Out. I absolutely, positively adored this film. I think I think it's just so good, and it's got such an amazing cast. This cast is hands down one of the best casts in the entire like 2019 lineup that we had. Daniel Craig, I think, is absolutely brilliant in the movie. I don't care if his accent is stupid or not. I absolutely love it. Christopher Plummer is one of the greatest actors of all time,
Yeah.
and his role in this film, like it's just it's like he's everybody's grandpa in this movie.
He is
Like
great. He is great.
in Anna de Armas, when she fucks up or thinks she fucks up, he all he wants to do is protect her, and it was nice. Jamie Lee Curtis is also stupid good in this movie. And that's me still sleeping on Michael Shannon and Don Johnson and Tony Collette's
Yeah.
uh, acting in this film, which were all really good. We also get a stellar sweater from Chris Evans, and I
Yeah. The
think
cable
that's
knit. Yeah.
the cable knit white sweater. But no, I see you kind of sulking on our Zoom call. I You did not like this film, correct?
I Let me put it this way. I think it's a fine film. I think it's well acted. I think the story is actually pretty good. It's just not for me. I will criticize a little bit. I think the performances that stand out are obviously Ana de Armas, Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, and I would say probably Michael Shannon. Everybody else I feel like is a little wasted. Tony Collette
Mm-hmm.
has shines of being great. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is completely wasted in this movie. I think they could have done a lot more. They didn't do really anything with her. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is one of my favorite actors of all time. She's in Halloween
Yeah.
and so many other great movies. But I truly truly love Jamie Lee Curtis. She does nothing for me in this movie. Ana de Armas is great. They don't do enough with Lakeith Stanfield either, and I love Lakeith. I think he's just another one of those great rising star. I mean, he's already a star, but I think his star is only going to rise. And obviously Ana de Armas is probably one of the hottest people, like as far as acting wise. She's moving up so high so quickly. People truly love her. She's going to be in Blonde either this year or next year. I can't remember. I think she's great. I think Daniel Craig is great. I just don't. I never kind of cared about these kind of mysteries or anything like that.
Oh, I love them.
This literally did nothing for me. I There was one part at the very end. I was like, that's the best line of the movie, and I can't remember. It was at the very end, but also whenever Chris Evans pulls the line back at Don Johnson, I think this is going to be good for all of you. Um,
Yes.
I think that was thing is problem is I knew who the killer was all along, and even had I not known, I would have been able to pinpoint it pretty quickly. I'm not even the kind of person who can actually figure out plot, like all everything that happened. I'm not really good at that. My sister can watch a movie and she, as soon as like there's a certain certain scene, she knows exactly who the killer is or anything like that. I figured out literally everything as soon as a very particular scene happened. I knew how everything worked. I confused one part of it, but it wasn't even that much of a confusion. But I I'm not saying anything bad about this movie. I think it's a good movie. I'm happy for everybody who likes this movie. I'm happy you love this movie. I've watched it. Everybody had been telling me, "Oh, you need to watch Knives Out." You know what, guys? I've watched it, and I'm never gonna watch this movie again. I'm never even gonna be tempted to be like, "Oh, hey, Knives Out's on. Let's." There's nothing else on. I'm gonna continue looking for something else.
Well, I happen to very much enjoy Knives Out, as it is my
So,
number six
I'm
film.
so mean.
Uh, it's okay. It's okay. I think the performances are great. I think Rain Johnson's just ability to shoot films that I thoroughly enjoy is almost second to none.
We get a small
I'm
cameo
excited.
by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Voice only.
Yeah.
We do get a sequel coming out this year that I'm also
Glass
excited
Onion.
for. A Knives Out mystery, yes, which is going to be a Netflix exclusive.
Oh, really? That's
So
disappointing.
yeah. They paid
Which,
$470 million for the exclusive rights to it.
I mean, if you got the money, I mean, I guess. But I mean, I think Daniel Craig is officially signed on for 5 total movies. Whether or not they make them is a different story, but I think he has signed a contract to make that he is willing to make 5 of these movies. So,
I mean, I'm down for it. I think his character is fun as hell.
yeah.
That's he's a fun private detective. This is I don't know. I like mystery films. Like one of my favorite movies growing up was Clue.
Oh, I love Clue.
So if that tells you anything about from a young age what I enjoy, uh, I thought it was very well done. I think it got all the hype that it deserved, and I'm excited for the follow up. So.
Yeah. I'm sorry for taking your thunder on this, but
okay.
you passed
so
it to me. You passed it to me.
Just so we're clear, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Good.
It
Good.
Jesus, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of A- on an A+ to F scale. So there are a lot of people out there that thoroughly enjoyed this film, myself being one of them. But that's, as Drew is so apt to tell us, if we all like the same things, the world would be a really, really boring place. So, just
I take the winds out of your sails.
You did
so
you really
often,
did.
so often. I do it too much.
So just to recap, number 10 for me was Frozen 2, 9 Long Shot, 8 A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, 7 Midsummer, and 6 Drew's least favorite film of 2019.
No, that's not true. That's not true. All right. For me, number 10 was Joker on Joaquin's performance alone. Number 9, which would be number 1 if this year wasn't great, Alita Battle Angel. Number 8, Us, which also would be a top 3 movie if this year wasn't great. Number 7, Ready or Not. I'm gonna watch it tonight because it's so much fun. Number 6, Booksmart, which I'd be willing to watch again very soon, unlike Knives Out.
Drew's least favorite film.
I did have this on your list. Good.
Good. But, good. You know me so well.
But yeah, I only got 2 of them. But but no, I mean this. I'm like I said, I don't like taking wins out of people's sails just because I want everybody to enjoy what they enjoy, unless it's garbage opinions like certain people
or Knives Out.
No, this isn't a garbage opinion. Like I said, I think the story is really good. I think the performances are really good. I think everything about this movie is great. I'd give it an 8 out of 10, but I don't care about it. I don't care about this movie even a little bit. So
I get it.
But I finally watched it. I took the time. I went to my video rental store because it's not available anywhere. I had to rent The Lighthouse today.
I thought it was on Freevee.
No.
Huh, interesting.
But I went to my video rental store yesterday and I picked it up to support a local business. But unlike you. But no,
If it ain't streaming, I ain't watching it.
but that's our bottom half of 2019 for our top tens, and we want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, real quick, hold on, time out. Real quick, day of recording, August 14th.
Braves are on a 6-game win streak. Okay.
A very, very special happy birthday to someone who is not going to hear this, but as an entertainment, movie, television podcast, I feel that we have to say happy birthday to this gentleman. He turned 77 today. He is an accomplished stand-up comedian. He is an accomplished movie actor.
Watch
He
me
is
not
an
like him.
accomplished television actor. He is an accomplished banjo and bluegrass musician.
Oh, never mind. I do love this man.
It is Steve Martin's 77th birthday. This man was
One of
in
the
the
greats.
movie The Jerk, that is partially responsible for the type of humor that I live with today. In his honor, everyone should go out and watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because or The Jerk, because both of them are just stupid great.
Right
Only
before
Murders in the Building
Oh, sorry.
is apparently Only Murders in the Building is apparently a great show that I plan on watching soon. It had multiple awards, and again, like I said, he is actually a Grammy Award winner, not only for his stand-up comedy,
As
for
a
his
banjo
playing as well.
And every
Yeah.
once in a while, like on Twitter or Instagram, he'll just post videos of him playing, and you're like, holy shit. This is good. I
So,
never thought I would be into just banjo, but he just makes it amazing. But yeah, I mean, right before the podcast, you actually sent me the clip that I referenced a couple episodes ago of him just scolding the woman in
dropping F-bombs left and right.
And then I just love the response at the end. You're fucked.
Yep.
It's great.
But no, happy birthday, Steve Martin, one of the greatest entertainment magicians on the planet.
Yes, absolutely. On that note, you can follow us on our social media.
Yay!
Nick's Twitter is Superman's _Papa, and my Instagram and Twitter are Andrew
LZ.
Yeah, or you can follow the show on Twitter, which was _ the podcast. We also have a YouTube channel, which you can also subscribe to if you like watching podcasts instead of listening to them. As Glenn Howerton from the It's Always Sunny podcast says, you creeps. If you watch the podcast instead of listening to it.
Hey, all that matters though is we would love to hear from you. We would love to talk to you about all things entertainment on our social media.
And then also rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Follow us as instead of just subscribing on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify Podcasts, which really would help. I mean, I would do it to my own, but I feel like that's kind of cheating. I would rate and review our own podcast, but I feel like, yeah, that's a little bit of cheating, but we would really, really appreciate it if you would. So
I don't care if you rate or review it. I just want to keep rolling in all that dough that we're making from doing a podcast, you know.
You know how much money I've made as a podcaster in the last 4 years that I've been doing random podcasts? Less than $10. Less than $10, which I can't cash out until I reach $10.
Oh no. Okay, so rate and review. Follow the pod.
Yes.
No, come follow us. Come talk to us. We'd love to hear from you all.
Yeah. I've been Nick.
I've been Drew.
And please.
I have no idea what we're doing right now.
I'll see you next Tuesday.
Well, hey, get vaccinated.
What were you about to say?
I have no clue.
I don't know why. I just felt like saying I'm Nick. And I wanted to hear you say I'm Andrew LZ. All right. Bye, guys.
Oh.